It's Greg Adams here with the Raw Meat Podcast, just a couple of days away from the Royal Rumble, and we've got a quick little bite-sized podcast that we're throwing up on YouTube right now because earlier today, one of our very own from the Raw Meat Podcast, Puff, got a chance to talk to Kurt Angle, recently announced as a WWE Hall of Fame inductee for this year. A lot of interesting things touched on in this podcast. This is going to be a bite-size. You can hear the complete interview over on our episode 55 full podcast with the Royal Rumble predictions. So here we go. This is what Puff had to ask him about this weekend.
I'm trying not to fanboy out too hard because joining me on the phone is 13-time World Heavyweight Champion, Olympic gold medal winner, and now WWE Hall of Famer, Kurt Angle. How's it going, Kurt?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, guys.
I appreciate it, man. So I guess we'll start here and then work our way down the list. Any big plans for the weekend? Maybe a family vacation to Texas?
You guys, smart asses. No, I don't have any plans this weekend. They're all rumors. I will not be at the Royal Rumble.
And one of the other things that we want to really highlight from this interview that Puff did earlier today with Kurt Angle is something he brought up here that he's going to talk about that I don't think I've ever heard before. While he was, I believe, timeline with TNA, Vince and WWE, Vince McMahon, actually paid for his rehab while he was with TNA. If the timelines line up, I believe that what Kurt is saying is that while with TNA, WWE and Vince McMahon paid for his rehab. Check out what Kurt had to say earlier today.
And I commend them on that because they have a great recovery program for recovering addicts for the WWE. They're the ones responsible for putting me in rehab. I wasn't even an employee of theirs, and they paid for my rehab. So
I know Vince is really good about trying to take care of people he considers to be part of the family, so that's awesome.
Right, and you're absolutely right. He's done an incredible job with that. They also have a drug policy. It wasn't there when I was back, in 2003. They test their athletes consistently, so they've done an incredible job with that. You're noticing that less and less wrestlers are having drug problems. They're not dying at a young age. Mr. McMahon and WWE have come to the conclusion that they need to be responsible about what they do, and they've done a tremendous job. A wrestler like Daniel Bryan, 12 years ago, he'd be wrestling right now, but they won't clear him to wrestle because of the dangers of his neck, and I think also because he had some concussions. Mm-hmm. So they're being very responsible and very safe about how they treat their athletes, and I commend them on it.
Again, the full interview, the full Kurt Angle conversation, and our Royal Rumble draft predictions, all in the full episode 55 podcast. This is just a quick little snippet with some of those highlights from Puff's Kurt Angle interview from earlier today. Check the YouTube channel, subscribe, keep up to date. We'll promise to do more podcasts very soon. It is the Raw Meat Podcast.